Hello and welcome to another edition of Son of Kaiju Review. I'm Protomet.
I am Tank, and he's a liar.
You're right. I'm not Protomet. I'm Tem Otorb.
But you said Protomet backwards.
Yes. Yes, explain the joke. That makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
Today we will be taking a look at Digimon, the movie.
Clowns.
Clown's not guaranteed.
Or free hats.
For those of you who are not aware, Digimon was an anime series, is an anime series, and will probably always be, and will probably always be an anime series, but with like breaks in between. But specifically, this movie is tied into the first two seasons of the English dub of the series. Mm-hmm. And it's actually a compilation of 3 separate Digimon movies.
Because if we just did one of each, there'd be too short.
That's probably what they were going for with the release of this movie, which, again, is just 3 movies combined into one. Mm-hmm. And that's they probably needed to be a certain length in order to even get it into theaters.
Yeah.
Because, oh boy.
Like, literally each little... We've watched these, like, separately, and they're probably the length of a Digimon episode.
Roughly, except for the third one, but that one...
That's a two-parter.
Yeah, that one's...
It's weird.
We'll get to that when we get to that, but this compilation of the movies, though, came out in the U.S. during the second season's run. Mm-hmm. And as a result, it features some jumbling of things and a lot of added in humor that just wasn't present in the original versions.
No, I have to say though, I didn't mind the music choices they.
Oh yes,
picked for the American.
Well, I will definitely say that I much prefer the Japanese versions of the movies. This movie's general soundtrack is pretty darn good. Mm-hmm. Like, not so much the background music, which is mostly taken from just the English dub of Digimon in general.
But the actual songs that randomly come in play of, like, rambunctious scenes of silliness.
Yeah, I'll talk about those towards the end, so remind me to do so. Because,
he's putting a lot of pressure on me, folks.
But I suppose we should start with the first of the 3 movies, simply titled Digimon Adventure, which acts as a prequel to the first season of the series, and focuses on young versions of Tai and Kari from, the main series. The show does actually tie back into this at a later point, which kind of flew over American audiences' heads, since we didn't have access to this movie at the time. But it's a pretty simple movie directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who would go on to also direct the second of the 3 movies in this compilation. And the basic plot is a couple kids encounter an egg that comes out of a computer. It hatches into a black blob, which then...
I don't know what the name of the baby
It's a Botamon.
Botamon? Okay. At least you know. Botamon to...
And then it changes into like a pink head with antenna called a Koromon, which is what all the characters in at least the Japanese version keep referring to the creature as, even
Koromon,
when it changes forms later. But
Gabumon doesn't get no love.
Yeah, Agumon, plenty. Greymon, sure. But Gabumon, he's not even in this one.
Oh, shit, I goofed. That's what we call a fuck-up, kid.
Stay in school.
If you want. Don't stay in school. Yeah.
But yeah, as the creature gets a bit bigger and bigger, it eventually breaks out at night, and we get an adventure with it just kind of wandering around.
Kari just riding a dinosaur.
A short T-Rex looking thing called an Agumon.
Yeah, Agumon. And so, it blew up a bus. No, wait, a car. You let the bus go.
And then another big egg just starts coming from the sky and then hatches into a parrot monster. Parrotmon.
Yeah, Parrotmon. Then,
Agumon turns into a Greymon and fights it.
And, honestly...
stabs it in its beak, which is cut out of the U.S. version of the film.
Yeah. He used his horns for something for once.
Yeah. And then they kind of just get sucked back up into the sky.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, also, Kari would blow her whistle, and, she was, having some type of attack or,
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the pneumonia incident that's referenced in the show.
Oh, that would probably make more sense then. Yeah, so Ty just grabs the whistle and just blows
to wake up the Greymon so that it doesn't get killed by the Parrotmon during the fight.
Yep, and fire happens, and then they get, like you said, they get sucked back up to the digital world.
Yeah, this is an incredibly simple plot, but considering that this movie's only 20 minutes, it's fine.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a good little 20-minute little short.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. A good way to introduce audiences to...
We do get... Sorry to interrupt. We do get introduced to some of the others, but they don't get their names said, but you recognize them from the show, and you know it's
right.
Joe.
This is...
before they even met at summer camp.
Right. And this is basically just a brief introduction for audiences as to the general concept of Digimon, without going into all the minutia that's present in the TV series. Also, fun fact, Ty from the TV series is actually based on a character with the same name from the comic book series that had been being printed at the same time.
Okay.
They are drastically different characters in terms of personality, but visually they look identical.
Okay. So like every other male character in the other series that end up stealing his hairstyle and his goggles.
Except this time it's intentional.
Yep.
Go read Digimon V-Tamer 01. It's pretty good manga.
Monger.
It's a fishmonger. It's better than a warmonger.
Yeah.
But like I said, incredibly simplistic movie, but it's fine for what it is, and it's thoroughly enjoyable and has some good kaiju action in it, which is honestly the most kaiju action we'll get out of pretty much any of the Digimon movies.
Yes, This is like the only one that technically, my opinion, out of the three that we're going to be talking about today, that has the giant creature action. The rest are more them, kinda, but they're not really. Well, there's no city destruction, so. Okay.
But yeah, I said this before, but I definitely prefer the Japanese version of the film because it uses a musical piece called Bolero, which is incredibly well done throughout the film. It's a piece of music that, as it goes on, more instruments get added in to make a more... It starts off simplistic and ends up incredibly grand and a bit busy, but it makes sense within the context of this movie.
Yeah.
And apparently it was actually originally going to be in The Legend of Zelda as its opening theme.
Oh.
But it hadn't yet lapsed into the public domain in Japan yet, so they had to come up with the classic Legend of Zelda tune in like a week or something.
I'm just looking at your Gundams right now and seeing if anything's missing.
Nothing. I don't know why anyone would be missing. I mean, it's certainly not like I started a new channel where I'm showing off my Gundam models.
Wink,
I don't know what
nudge.
I don't know what you're thinking. But with that, it's time we move on to the second of the Digimon movies, Digimon Adventure: Our War Game, or Children's War Game, as the text on screen in the actual film has it. This one,
it's good in its own right.
I think it's probably, in terms of actual narrative, the best of the three movies in this compilation.
Yeah. It is.
This one is set after the first season, so kind of bridge the gap. And I feel I should mention that in the U.S. version of this film, basically they had been inserting this one character from the third movie into some capacity in the other two films to try and tie them all together, narratively speaking, and that.
There's more than the ones in Japan that are digidestined.
I mean, I get that, but they make it seem like it's all tied together. When in Japan, no, not really.
Oh.
But this movie is actually, again, by Mamoru Hosoda, sorry, and apparently he liked this movie so much that he actually remade it but took out all the Digimon references and just released it as Summer Wars, which I've got to get around to watching. That was pretty popular. Came out in 2009.
Okay. Oh.
Now, I'm not saying that is a direct copy of this movie. I haven't seen that, but even the Wikipedia says that it was a major influence. But like I said, it takes place after the second season, so by this point, all the Digidestined characters are well-established characters, and their Digimon are safely back in the digital world after having saved it and the real world. But now,
a computer virus Digimon? Or
yes.
Digimon that got a computer virus?
Yeah, yeah.
Digi-Egg hatches, or Digi-Egg gets infected by a computer virus.
Yes. And it starts just wreaking havoc on the internet.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Tai from the previous movie and Izzy from the show are working together to try and stop it, while at the same time trying to get in touch with any of the other six kids that make up their 8-kid group to try and help stop this monster.
Oh.
And they have such a hard time with it.
They get... No, they don't even get all of them, do they?
Nope. Let's see, there's Matt and TK who are at their grandparents' place.
That they are in
the sticks.
Yes, they're like, yeah. Like, there is no internet connection, no computer anywhere. There's the funniest scene when Tai is trying to get a hold of Matt and TK, and
their grandma hangs up on him.
He's like, boys, this boy, you're selling toys. Boys, this child is a geek. And, he's trying to also get a hold of,
let's see, his sister, who's at a birthday party and can't tear herself away despite,
You could leave a birthday party whenever you want.
There's Joe, who's trying at exams.
Yep.
I think he's doing, pre-high school tests and stuff. Mimi, who's on vacation in America.
Hawaii.
Apparently. And Sora, who...
doesn't want to talk to Tai. Because of a thing... Oh my god.
Something about a hair clip. I think it's the same in both versions.
It's just like... Tai does... Okay. To the ones I've been in relationships, Tai was doing everything wrong that just made the girl more upset with him. So, just walk away.
But yeah, so they're having
apologize, people.
They're having a hard time getting the band back together to stop this threat.
Literally.
And the Digimon, which keeps evolving into different forms,
really quickly.
Isn't helping the situation when it starts messing with the phone lines.
Yeah.
Which means that when they do finally get in touch with Matt and TK, it's like they each have to leave a message for the other to listen to and respond to.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, kids all over the world are watching this
situation. Email.
Like, Izzy and Ty's Digimons, Agumon and Tentomon, go in and try and stop the monster, and it kicks their asses.
It ends up digivolving to the champion form first, like how the stages go.
Actually, I think it transforms into an ultimate form at that point.
It skips champion, goes straight to ultimate.
For those of you who aren't aware, here's the basic level up system for Digimon. There's the baby stage called In Training, or Baby. Mm-hmm. Second stage is also called In Training.
Big training level 2.
The third stage is Rookie, and that's what most Digimon are at.
Mm-hmm. Like that you've seen on this show.
Like, if you've seen a Digimon in its more cute form, that's probably a Rookie form. Then there's a Champion form where they look tougher. Mm-hmm. Then there's Ultimate, which is stronger than Champion, and then above that is Mega. Mm-hmm.
Then there's Fuse, and we just don't talk about that right now.
Good thing you said right now, because we got to talk about that. But no, Infamon, it kicks their ass.
Yes, Infamon just, yep.
And then goes away.
Yep, he just finds exit and just crawls right into it. They're okay. They're on the internet. I disagree. There's not enough porn.
But it is a series of tubes.
That's true.
But eventually they get Matt and TK to a computer to help out. Mm-hmm. So they join the fight, and at some point Izzy... Okay, so in the US version, apparently Ty's mom has been trying out a variety of new...
milkshake recipes?
or something like that. And Izzy is incredibly willing to try that. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the Japanese version, he's just really into oolong tea.
Yep.
Either way, he winds up having to rush to the bathroom desperately.
And then Ty accidentally bops the computer screen
and it freezes.
Yes. We have to reboot it!
So when they finally get back online, it's another mess.
Like, literally, War Greymon... Oh, by the way, they digivolved to their mega forms, so they can take on this mega...
We don't say the P word. It is verboten here. Pokemon.
An house for me.
Okay, burn me at the stake.
Okay.
Their games are better, though.
They are. Can't deny that. Okay.
But that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. Okay. So they digivolved to their mega forms to take on this mega Digimon.
Infamon had now evolved into its ultimate form, Diaboromon, mm-hmm. which fucking kicks ass.
Yep. I like that look.
It's so lanky and spiky, but
oh yeah,
it still looks menacing.
As they finally get their computer rebooted, literally, Metal Garurumon and War Greymon look unfunctional.
And it doesn't help that Diaboromon has hacked into the Pentagon and launched a missile.
So they're...
So they gotta rush to stop Diaboromon and the missile. And there's my AC.
That's okay, it's gonna get hot today.
But, situation is not looking good.
Nope.
And then Ty and Matt somehow fused with their computers and entered the internet themselves.
Okay, I have to say, Matt and TK finally find a computer at a barbershop. And there's just a bunch of older people, getting haircuts and stuff like that. Oh, these kids know a lot of things about these computer things. I can't even change the time on my VCR. And by the way, you can't. You can't. It's freaking impossible.
It's impossible.
Prove me wrong, people.
No one in the history of ever has ever programmed their VCRs. Prove me wrong.
I will.
Especially now that VCRs don't even exist anymore. Prove me wrong on that.
Oh, he got you. He got you bad, people. He got you bad.
Yeah.
All right. Now back to the movie.
But then, Matt and Ty somehow go into the computer, and this revitalizes their Digimon and allows them to fuse into a single Digimon, Omnimon.
Omnimon.
Or Omegamon if you're living in Japan.
Actually, that name actually sounds cooler.
Yeah! Like, it looks like a big white knight with an arm that's based on War Greymon and another arm that's based on Metal Garurumon.
One contains a cannon, one contains a sword.
And it's got a big flowing cape that's red on one side and silver on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So he's Captain America?
But he doesn't have a mighty shield, except on his shoulder.
Damn. That just sounds awesome.
Now, by this point, Diaboromon has decided to just clone itself repeatedly.
Yep.
Like, ad nauseum. So there's, like, millions of...
So, as he just takes out all of, pretty much a bunch of his shadow clones.
They then get reduced down to one, but it's moving too quickly for them to catch up. And it's not helping the matter that kids from all over the world are basically sending the Digidestined emails of either encouragement or whatever. And
okay, before they even fuse together, there's a kid that's just a jerk. Jeez, Greyman's weak. Then Ty just
almost punches Izzy, but Izzy's just reading what the kids are saying.
Email.
Well, turns out all these emails that had been coming in have been slowing Omnimon down.
Yes, Omnimon, yes. But then Izzy has the bright idea to just transfer all the emails to the bad Digimon.
Which slows him down enough for them to take...
Like, literally, he stops. He, freezes and then sword to the head.
Which stops the countdown at the last possible minute, and the missile just lands harmlessly in the bay.
Yep. And the Sora is just sitting in a room, and it just literally just lands in the pond or lake.
Bay.
A bay?
Tokyo Bay.
Tokyo Bay?
Yeah.
I guess they're in Tokyo. I guess they never thought about Tokyo Bay. Yeah, just a bloop. No explosion, nothing. Just boom. Then she finally reads Ty's message, and Ty apologizes, I guess the best way he can.
Well, the thing is, the movie opens with him trying to write an apology letter, and Kari just sending it before he's ready.
Like, he was like... He was finished typing it, and he didn't know what to put, but he interrupts. Kari shows up right when the word love was on the
and send.
Hey!
So
yeah, that's the second movie,
and it was great.
I liked it.
Like, I can definitely see why people love Diaboromon's design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got a great design, and he was one of the single most dangerous Digimon to ever not be in the show.
He was messing stuff up in the internet.
that was basically hacking the shit up. It was having effects on the real world.
Oh yeah,
like it was messing up the grocery store counters.
Beep boop beep beep beep.
That'll be $1,200,000.
What?
Well, that's what it says. Messing with everybody's emails, blocking phones, going to America, launch a nuke. Okay, it wasn't a nuke.
Just a missile. It could have caused damage where it landed, but still.
Like, the Wikipedia article for this does specify which type of missile it is. And I'm not going to look into it too much.
No, don't. And
that is the end of that one.
yep. And 3.
Yes, I'm working on it.
I know.
That brings us to the third of the Digimon movies, which doesn't even have its own article on Wikipedia.
Oh no! It was that bad.
And this movie is the longest of the three.
Yes.
Because the first two, let's see. Shit.
Lucas is lost.
I'll figure stuff out.
Okay, so pretty much it starts off with audio from Kari. And, pretty much.
Okay, so the second movie was 40 minutes, so that's why it has more substantial plot.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the third movie is 65 minutes long, and it feels longer. The third movie is Digimon Adventure 02, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown, and Digimon Adventure 02, Transcendent Evolution, The Golden Digimental, which, for the record, is what they called the Digi-Eggs that had the armor forms from the second season.
Okay. Just like, huh?
What's a Digimental? I figured either you or the audience would be confused, so I figured I'd explain.
Yeah.
And this movie is drawn out.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it starts off with Kari doing like a voiceover portion and talking about Davis and freaking
basically introducing all the new characters from the second season and all the changes that have happened between seasons.
Okay, there is a line that makes me kind of chuckle in the beginning where Kari is talking about. She brings up Matt, and he's the artist formerly known, or artist formerly like Digidestined.
Digidestined, formerly known as Matt. A reference to Prince.
Yep.
When he decided to change his name to a symbol.
Yeah.
And then he decided that was dumb and changed it back.
Yep. Ty's still addicted to soccer. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, this is the character that got kind of shoehorned into the other movies, came from. Mm-hmm. Or at least in the U.S. version. He's at no point mentioned in the other two films.
No.
But during the first movie, they established that this new kid, Willis or Wallace, depending on which version you're watching, apparently
Wonka.
Apparently, he got a Digi-Egg at some point, which gave him 2 Digimon partners.
Yeah. So I guess you can hash twins in the digital Digimon. So.
But then at some point prior to the second movie, he tried to make a Digimon, which got infected with a computer virus, and basically this kid in the U.S. version of the movie is the source of almost all the problems in all three. I mean, technically he didn't have anything to do with what was going on in the first one, but according to the U.S., he definitely caused the second one.
Yeah.
I feel I should remind you that in the Japanese version, Diaboromon was just a computer virus Digimon that went rogue.
Would make sense.
Like, it just went rogue on its own.
Was able to get to every stage, though.
Alright, so now we're caught up to this movie and its new characters, Davis, Yoli, and Cody. We don't mention the other new kid in this because he doesn't show up in this movie because presumably this movie takes place while he was a bad guy. I think.
I can't think of his name.
Ken.
Ken, yeah. He has the Wormmon that turns into
Kamen Rider.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a Kamen Rider design. It's literally a animated version of Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider Black, rather specifically. Or at least that's what it closely looks like. Which is appropriate since both shows are made by Toei, so... But we're only mentioning it to mention that neither him nor his partner are in this movie.
Yeah.
At all.
It would probably make it a little bit better if Ken was.
Whereas the first two movies were pretty clear on where they took place in continuity.
Yeah.
In fact, the second movie is actually a huge part of continuity and actually ties into that bad guy who's not in this movie. Sir not appearing in this film. Or at least according to the games that introduce his backstory, which is a whole thing that I should probably do a Toku Facts video on, because that is a whole mess that wasn't even
so you're saying it's a big kettle of fish.
It's a huge kettle of fish and worms. And you can't shoot either of them.
In a barrel?
Nope. But it's a whole kerfuffle that was even more confusing for the U.S., who didn't have access to them.
Right.
But that's a whole other thing. So...
Okay, now, let me just say, this... I'm not a fan of this movie, but it's slow.
Very slow.
Yeah. So, pretty much, I'm guessing that Digimon evolved into that form, because...
Basically. Okay, so, this movie, in the US version, starts off with TK and Kari in America investigating something for some reason. And then they have an encounter with an Indigomon.
So that's what it's called? Indigomon?
Indigomon, Wendigomon, depending on where you're living.
Okay.
I think it's Indigomon in the US version, because apparently W's don't exist.
I know of Wendigo.
I know. But what's an indigo? That is a color? No, that's indigo, idiot.
He said it.
But they also have some encounter with Willis and his Terriermon partner, who... A Terriermon has a more prominent role in the third season.
Yes.
And I freaking love that season.
I have to agree. The third season, I think... Okay, how I would rate them, it would be the first season, the third season, then, like, the second season. That's just my opinion. I haven't seen all the Digimons yet, so...
But then after TK and Kari encounter the Indigomon, they get in touch with the other three back in Japan, who then somehow manage to make their way to the U.S. and meet Willis.
By a train?
Yoli has connections in the U.S. version.
He does. Holy God. She does. It's just like... I got an uncle this, I got an uncle that,
Admittedly, that's probably the U.S. version trying to pave over a huge plot hole that's present in the Japanese version. Because how the fuck do three kids from Japan just casually make it to America?
They order a pizza.
That's after they're already in America.
That's right. Shit.
But then they encounter Willis, who tries to explain the situation and how the Indigomon used to be a Kokomon, but then it got infected with a virus in the U.S. version, and then it went crazy, and...
It keeps telling him to go back.
It keeps telling him to go back, and they keep fighting it.
The thing is, he doesn't understand aging.
I'll get to that. The Indigomon is telling Willis to go back for some reason. Yeah. At some point, Davis and Willis get separated from the others, and so Yoli and Cody go on ahead, while Davis and Willis kind of have to just hang around, have to try and hoof it there on foot.
I
think
they're in America.
Yeah, at least they're in America, the country that's way bigger than Japan. Like
both pretty big, but Japan's pretty fucking big. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Not compared to the U.S.
No. I realized what I was saying. I'm just like, I'm not fucking up.
But it's really, really long and drawn out and incredibly boring, and I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep during this one like I did the last podcast subject.
Yeah, see, well, you did, like, look up, was that Twitter and stuff for a good while, and...
Sure, I wasn't really paying too much attention, but that's because I already knew this was a boring-ass film.
Mm-hmm. And...
The pacing is incredibly slow. Willis is just not that engaging of a character.
No.
Granted, neither are really the season 2 characters in general, outside of the context of the show.
Yeah. There is a funny thing, though, where, like, Davis and Willis are, talking and brings up... Davis has a huge crush on Kari. Yeah.
That is a recurring element from the show, yes.
Yes. But...
And Willis is poking fun at him over it.
Yeah,
like, you better leave Kari alone, she's mine. He's like, I don't know.
I'd like to give her a big smooch. Hey, what? Like, literally, like, somewhat jealous boyfriend situation, but he's not even... He just likes her, and he doesn't want anyone else to like her.
It's a one-sided relationship.
Exactly. And then they walk.
They walk, and then they encounter Digimon and somehow get caught back up with
the others.
And then TK and Kari show up with their Digimon, which evolve into their Mega forms somehow.
I don't know. I really don't know.
No, seriously.
There is no...
There is no explanation for how they're able to do this.
I would prefer if they would have been able to build that up.
Yeah, but no.
Just like...
TK's Patamon evolves into a Seraphimon. Well, Kari's Gatomon evolves into a Magnadramon.
Yep.
And there's no explanation as to why. It's not even something they could do in the show.
It would have helped them out in the show.
Like, at most, they could get them up to their ultimate levels, and Magnadramon isn't even...
No.
But they do that thing, and then they fight the Endigomon, which is now evolved into a... something else. I'm trying to remember what it was called.
It looked like a giant Kermit the Frog.
Cherubimon.
Cherubi?
That is its ultimate form, or mega form. I'm trying to remember what it's... Endearamon?
It's like a rabbit with ears down.
That it has more relevance during the third season, which...
Because I believe one of the...
Yeah, but also
evolve into it.
Yeah, but also because it's like part of like a whole group that are based on the Chinese zodiac. So
makes sense.
In this one, it just shows up.
Yep. And causes
mayhem.
And
then the Cherubimon, he's all evil and purple.
Yep.
But like a dark purple, not the good light purple or pink.
Mm-hmm.
It should be. Because it's evil, because of a computer virus. And then I guess TK and Kari give Willis and Davis 2 golden Digi-Eggs that they pulled out of their asses so that the two could evolve their Digimons into Magnamon and Rapidmon.
And they do that, and then they get eaten, and then they shoot the virus out of him.
At some point, the kids get turned into even younger kids.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either.
It doesn't make sense in the U.S. version.
No.
In the Japanese version, it makes a bit more sense because it's tied to the plot that's cut out of the U.S. version in which Indigomon had been kidnapping the other Digidestined and regressing them in age to try and find his lost partner. So, the entire crux of this movie is that the villainous Digimon got separated from Willis when it was still a kid, and has spent the intervening years trying to reconnect with Willis, searching all over the country for him, and when he does eventually find Willis, he doesn't recognize Willis.
Because he is aged.
Because he's grown up. He's changed. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea is that Wendigo's wanting to go back to the Willis he knows, but that they can't do that without age regression, and even then, they still retain their memories. And it's a whole kettle of fish that makes more sense in the Japanese version, because they have that subplot of the bad Digimon kidnapping the other Digidestined, and having been infected with a computer virus or something during its time being separated from its partner. It's an incredibly tragic tale.
Yeah.
That kind of gets lost in the mess that is this really long and drawn-out movie. But anyway, they managed to defeat Cherubimon, and I guess they find Kokomon's Digi-Egg at some point.
Yeah, and fish.
It is long and drawn out and did not need to be 65 minutes.
No. The second one could have. We would have been more entertained.
So that was all 3 parts of Digimon the movie.
Yeah. I like the first one. Like the second one.
Third one can die.
Let's just cut that one off.
No, we need that to make a feature film so that we can actually show it in theaters. They should have waited and just gotten Diaboromon Strikes Back, the 4th movie. That one was entertaining enough.
That's it. Oh yeah, we did. Did we watch that one yet?
No, we haven't yet.
Interesting.
So that might be one we could cover in the future. But for now, we have covered all 3 of the movies that comprise Digimon the movie. Now I get to talk about the Angela Anaconda bit.
I'm giving him the floor.
So, for those of you who aren't aware, Angela Anaconda was a cartoon series that was basically made in the style similar to South Park, except with more photorealistic character designs, which just look a bit off-putting to some people. And it basically is a series that follows this schoolgirl, Angela Anaconda, and the various misadventures she has with her friends. For some reason, Fox decided to make a whole short dedicated to promoting this movie, and I think it was even in the theatrical run of the film. It's certainly on the VHS version of the film. I don't remember the specifics of the short, other than that it exists for some reason, and Angela Anaconda dresses up as Ty for some reason. There you go. I don't even know.
I have no words.
There are no words. There are no words to properly convey how dumb this bit is.
Yeah.
Completely superfluous.
Yeah.
If I can, like we said before, there is one saving grace about the U.S. version of the film, and that's its goddamn fantastic soundtrack. Which consists a lot of alternative rock, pop punk, hip hop, and ska punk bits. You got a rap version of the show's main theme. You've got the Rockefeller Skank from Fatboy Slim, Kids in America from Len, 1 Week by Bare Naked Ladies, that impression that I get from Mighty Mighty Boss Stones, All My Best Friends Are Metalheads from Less Than Jake, Run Around from Jason Radford. I'm at this point basically just listing off all the tracks. But probably the most surprising is the Shrek favorite, All Star by Smash Mouth.
Yeah, it was on there.
But this is a fantastic lineup of a soundtrack, and it helped introduce me as a kid to these great songs that I would not have heard otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Protomet is kind of an introvert.
Very much so.
He is, like, he's got to hear something from, like, a show or a movie to get into certain other things.
And then I hear it everywhere because everybody's already been aware of it for years.
He's like, hey, have you heard this? Dude, man, that's out of date. Sorry. I'm stuck in my ways. Shit.
Yeah. In general, I would say watch the first two Japanese movies.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the soundtrack for the U.S. version, and just forget that the third movie ever exists.
What he said. So, this has been Son of Kaiju Review. I am Tank.
I'm Protomet.
See ya.
Bye.